सो बेसिकली हम लोग जब यूट्यूब में कोई सॉन्ग कुछ भी अपलोड करते हैं तो कॉपीराइट स्ट्राइक आ जाता है. बट अगर मैं वही सेम सॉन्ग अगर रील्स में अपलोड करूँ तो वहाँ पे कॉपीराइट स्ट्राइक नहीं आता है. सो व्हाट इज़ द रीज़न बिहाइंड इट? ऐसा क्यों होता है?
When I came to Bombay for the first time, yes, there were struggles. Bombay, is difficult. A city is difficult to live in because expenses are high, and in college, obviously, you're not earning. You will get rejection emails for sure. You will be told that slots nahi hai, you are not eligible, team abhi full hai, whatever. बट डोंट गिव अप. अगर ऐसा लगता है कि यूट्यूब पे इन्फ्रिंजमेंट अलाउड नहीं है और रील्स पे अलाउड है, गलत.
फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई एम अ प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ वन मूवी एंड मेरी मूवी रिलीज होने से पहले ही लीक हो गई. सो वॉट लीगल एक्शन आई कैन टेक टूवर्ड्स दैट? Hi everyone, we welcome you all to our special podcast on intellectual property laws by the Legal School. Today we have our very special guest from Khaitan and Company, Khushbu Jhunjhunwala. So today we'll talk about intellectual property laws in very detail. So we'll talk about entertainment, media law, artificial intelligence, we'll talk about the meme culture, we'll talk about the apparels, cosmetic side, pharmaceutical industry, and also we will talk about Khushbu's journey as an IP lawyer. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So we are so happy to have you here. So I really wish that your journey went well today and you have reached safely.
It was. I'm happy to be here.
So today we'll talk about intellectual property law in detail. So जितने लोग भी intellectual property के बारे में जानना चाहते हैं, so this is the podcast for you guys. So today we'll talk about brand wars, apparels, and IP litigation. So Khushbu, you are associated with Khaitan and Company. जैसे मैं खुद, like I am an advocate, and as I know that there are many specialization. We have IPR, we have competition law, we have taxation law, we have merger and acquisition. Then why you have made your career in IPR only? Why not other fields? Why only IP litigation?
Interesting question. I think इसका आंसर मुझे देना पड़ेगा why law से, because why I chose law also, I don't know. Ever since I wanted to understand कि मुझे बड़े होके क्या बनना है, law was the only thing that used to come to my mind. Ever since I've been in school, in fact, I knew I wanted to become a lawyer. Once I became a lawyer, or once I got into law school, so to say, then I realized that I need to tap all practice areas. I need to intern in all as many fields as possible to understand ki where does my interest lie, because you're not exposed to any field as such when you're a first generation lawyer, right? I have no lawyers in my family, so for me it was trial and error. For me, I had to intern in a corporate internship. I had to work in a real estate law firm. I did in-house internships. So essentially सब कुछ ट्राई करने के बाद मुझे लगा कि दिस इज़ समथिंग दैट आई लव डूइंग, दिस इज़ समथिंग दैट interests me the most. One internship in my third year was in an IP firm, and that's where I realized that this is something that I enjoyed the most. And उसके बाद से जो भी मैंने इंटर्नशिप्स किए, नॉन IP इंटर्नशिप्स, मुझे उतना मज़ा नहीं आया. एंड दैट्स व्हेन आई रियलाइज कि ओके, the intersection of entertainment, media, and law is somewhere I love being the most. That's how IP happened.
Khushbu, you have just said that you are a first generation lawyer, right? So how was your journey as a first generation lawyer? Was it difficult for you to get a job?
I think as a first generation lawyer, you are a little scared क्योंकि guidance नहीं होती है, understanding नहीं होता है कि exactly what you are getting into, right? So it may be a little intimidating to choose an absolutely new practice area जहाँ पर आप किसी को नहीं जानते. But ultimately, I think if that's something you really want to do, you find your way through it. For me, when I stepped out of the house to come to law school, I was a bit scared, but I thought कि कर लेंगे मैनेज, पढ़ाई करनी है जाके, we'll figure. So when I came to Bombay for the first time, yes, there were struggles. Bombay, you know, is difficult. A city, as a city, is difficult to live in because expenses are high, and in college, obviously, you're not earning. So for every expense, you have to think. You're on a monthly budget. You can't splurge. Even for your basic expenses, yes, you have to think twice before even eating a meal outside, right? घर का खाना नहीं मिलता, सारा काम खुद करना पड़ता है when you step out of the house. So it these are struggles that everybody faces. But I think GLC and the alumni of GLC, the internships that I have done, where I found some mentors, in my seniors, they've guided me a lot. They've helped me a lot to understand exactly what I'm getting into. And I think eventually you find your way if you like what you are doing. I always tell everyone, सबसे ज़रूरी है to like what you are doing and to put your mind to it. I think that's all.
खुशबू, जैसे आपने बोला लॉ इज़ रियली क्लोज टू योर हार्ट, आपने भी बहुत इंटर्नशिप्स की होगी, आई एम डैम श्योर, राइट? सो क्या प्रोसेस है फॉर अप्लाइंग इन एनी लॉ फर्म? सो हमारे बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स हैं जो अप्लाई करना चाहते हैं, सो व्हाट इज़ द प्रोसेस? वी रियली वांट टू नो.
See, there is no straitjacket process. I'll tell you what I did. I used to write emails to the recruitment team, the HR. Um, if I got, some placement cell contact, I used to write emails. It's as simple as that. I had no contacts as such. I did not know anyone in the field. So, बहुत सिंपल प्रोसेस था मेरे लिए. ईमेल्स लिखो, अच्छा सीवी बनाओ, अच्छा कवर लेटर बनाओ, एंड इंटरनेट से टेम्पलेट उठा के यूज़ मत करो. पुट इन दैट एफर्ट, पुट इन दैट टाइम इन showing yourself through your CV, because that's the first point of contact between you and the law firm that you want to be in, or any place that you want to be in. So given that effort, that document is going to speak for you, and is going to be a reflection of who you are, essentially. Make that application. You will get rejection emails for sure. You will be told that slots nahi hai, you are not eligible, team abhi full hai, whatever. But don't give up, because there are many law firms, many places where you can apply, where you can learn. यहाँ नहीं तो वहाँ. So I always tell everyone that somewhere there is a seat for everyone, and just be at it, and don't feel like मुझे कहीं से rejection email आ गया तो I am not good enough, or I won't get an internship, or I won't get an opportunity anywhere else. ऐसा नहीं होता. यहाँ से नहीं आया मतलब कहीं और से आना है. That's the idea. And similarly with Khaitan, I used to write to the HR in my initial years, first year, second year, third year. I think मेरे पास हर साल का एक email होगा applying. And I used to get an email saying, okay, no, we don't have slots, or you are a little junior right now, things like that. But eventually मैंने email addresses ढूंढे of the IP team partners, and I wrote to them. And then luckily I got a chance, because there was a need for an intern in the team, and they got back to me, and I eventually continued to intern there for a long period of time. So that's what I say, कि rejection emails आते हैं, but that shouldn't dishearten you or discourage you.
So अभी जैसे आपने बोला ना, डोंट गिव अप. सो मैं सभी स्टूडेंट्स को यही बोलूँगी, जितने लोग भी पॉडकास्ट देख रहे हैं, just don't give up and just wait for the right time and for the right opportunity. You will also get a good job. So खुशबू, जैसे आपने बताया your struggle, your internship experiences, and कैसे बच्चों की help हो सकती है in getting an internship. जैसे you are associated with Khaitan and Company, and you are working in IP litigation team. So what is your day-to-day daily task as an IP lawyer? Because बहुत सारे I think यहाँ पे लोग हैं जिनको they want to start their career as an IP lawyer. So क्या day-to-day task हो सकते हैं?
I think typically it's going to be the same as any other profession. आप ऑफिस जाते हो, काम करते हो, घर आते हो. But if I tell you about how my day is, my day usually starts early because I like being at work early. We have some conferences in the morning, to prepare for the matters which are listed in court that day. I am predominantly into IP disputes, and a good part of my day is that's why spent in court. So, court jaake, I think the the good part of the day till about 4 o'clock is in and around court, um, handling court matters, squeezing in a lunch break in between, and then around 5 when you come back to work, that's where the rest of the day begins, right? So jo kuch subah nahi ho paya, everyone who was waiting to get on a call, meetings, drafting work, um, say research work, preparing for next day's matters, next day's conferences, all of those things happen after 5 p.m. That's the second part of the day. So yes, it's hectic. It's it's something that involves a lot of effort, but as long as you enjoy it, you won't realize it. And it's something that requires resilience because you have to be committed to your work, right? You have to like what you're doing and you have to invest yourself in it. And I am not saying कि आप दिन भर सिर्फ काम के बारे में सोचो या दिन भर सिर्फ काम करो. It's important to take out time for yourself also, which is why I try to go back home, say, go to the gym, try to play a sport on the weekends if possible, whenever time permits. But thoda time nikalna apne liye bhi zaruri hai. And that I have learned over the years, because when you start off, you feel like सिर्फ काम करना है, सिर्फ काम के बारे में सोचना है. All your day, everything in you has to be invested towards work, but I think that's not sustainable. So yes, be committed to your work. Yes, give yourself, give everything you have towards your work when you're working, but also make some small time for yourself, because that helps shape you as a person, helps you grow as a person. And it's very important to have a sustainable career, in a long term.
सो खुशबू, जैसे आपने बताया अपना इंटर्नशिप के बारे में बताया, योर लाइफ एज एन IP लॉयर एट खैतान. सो लाइक मेरा खुद इंटरेस्ट है इन IPR, राइट? सो कॉपीराइट के बारे में ना मुझे जेन्युइनली जानना है, बिकॉज एंटरटेनमेंट लॉ, मीडिया लॉ, जस्ट अभी आपने इसके बारे में बोला था, तो अभी मेरे माइंड में जस्ट ऐसा क्वेश्चन आया कि हाउ डज कॉपीराइट वर्क. सो बेसिकली हम लोग जब यूट्यूब में कोई सॉन्ग कुछ भी अपलोड करते हैं तो कॉपीराइट स्ट्राइक आ जाता है. बट अगर मैं वही सेम सॉन्ग अगर रील्स में अपलोड करूँ तो वहाँ पे कॉपीराइट स्ट्राइक नहीं आता है. सो व्हाट इज़ द रीज़न बिहाइंड इट? ऐसा क्यों होता है?
इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन. बहुत लोगों ने ये क्वेश्चन पूछा है. आई टेल यू, अगर ऐसा लगता है कि यूट्यूब पे इन्फ्रिंजमेंट अलाउड नहीं है और रील्स पे अलाउड है, गलत. ऐसा नहीं है. इफ़ content is being used without permission in reels also, it's equally wrong. Okay, अब YouTube is very strict. उनका mechanism होता है अपना. They have their different methods through which they try to control infringement. Okay, one of the methods is this copyright strike. कि अगर मैंने देखा कि मेरा गाना यूज़ हो रहा है किसी के वीडियो पे, I can report it. आई थिंक यूट्यूब हैज़ अ पॉलिसी कि अगर आप पे 3 स्ट्राइक्स आते हैं आपके अकाउंट पे, योर अकाउंट इज़ permanently terminated. So you have to be very careful before using any content. If you see their policies also, they say that अगर आपको लग रहा है कि ये गाना या ये content आपने बनाया है, सिर्फ तभी अपलोड करो. If you have the slightest doubt that any part of your content, whether it's a song, whether it's a clip, is not made by you, then 100% you don't have the permission to use it, right? So don't use anyone else's content as a part of your channel unless you have permission. Another way how YouTube functions is they have a content ID system. And this is for the larger scale companies जहाँ पर बहुत सारा content generate होता है. For example, if a movie is about to be released, obviously वो बैठ के एक एक वीडियो देखेंगे नहीं. They are not going to see where all it's being copied, where the clips are being uploaded. A lot of times immediately after movie release, clips of the movie are uploaded on YouTube. Right. So it's not possible to mechanically sit down and tap each video and understand where all it's happening, right? So they have a content ID system where you can upload the content that you want protected on YouTube. YouTube then automatically screens the content that is being uploaded and matches it with your content. And if they realize that there is a match, it takes it down. So it either blocks it or it gives you the option to monetize that content, or it simply asks you to ignore that content. So depends on what option you have chosen, YouTube will do that for you. And this is helpful when it's a large scale content, you know, when there are chances of it being copied on a large scale, where एक ढूंढ के copyright strike करना is not possible. So broadly, YouTube is very strict when it comes to this. Reels on Instagram are also strict, and copyright strikes are possible even on Reels. It happens, and you can't use music or any content on Reels without permission. Okay. How it works a little differently is that Instagram has its own licensed library. And if you are using content from that licensed library for non-commercial use, so it's user generated content, आप अपने funny memes, funny reels बना रहे हो, and you're using their licensed library, then essentially it's permitted use. तभी अगर आप देखोगे, if you are a corporation or if you are a corporate account on Instagram, your library of music will be very different from a private user's library. So if you're using Instagram for commercial purposes, then आपके जो गाने available होंगे use करने के लिए वो बहुत different होंगे, because the licensed content varies depending on whether you're using it for commercial use or for non-commercial use. And despite all of these safeguards, people do use it without permission. Background में गाना चला के reel बना के upload किया, and strikes happen even there. It's possible even there, and any use which is without permission is unauthorized.
So खुशबू, जैसे you have also worked with Red Chillies before, right? So for example, अभी just मेरे mind में question आया. For example, I am a producer of one movie and मेरी movie release होने से पहले ही leak हो गई. So what legal action, you know, I can take towards that?
Right. Movie leak हो जाना is a straightforward case of copyright infringement. Okay. As a producer, you own the right in that entire cinematographic film. Okay. अगर आपकी मूवी आपके बिना परमिशन के बिना कहीं पब्लिश हो गई है, कहीं ब्रॉडकास्ट की जा रही है, then you have the right to approach court and request the court to order those people to take it down, to remove it, right? To delete it. Oftentimes, producers write to the platform जहाँ वो movie है. For example, with YouTube, it's simpler because YouTube responds to these requests and takes it down. But बहुत हमने instances देखे हैं जहाँ there are rogue websites जिनके owners are not traceable, जिनके पता नहीं कहाँ से ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं, सर्वर्स कहाँ है, all those issues, you can't identify the source of infringement, right? Then you have the option to go to court and take a John Doe injunction. Now what is that? Where you can't identify कि ये कर कौन रहा है, then you identify the cause of infringement. What is it that is causing you the trouble? And you request the court कि this is my movie, I own the copyright, please direct this person to take it down. And not just this person, whoever uploads it without my permission should take it down. That's one of the most commonly used routes for producers, film companies, to protect their copyright in the movie, because ultimately it's the monetary value of the movie that gets impacted if it's available in pirated versions, right? इसलिए the courts are, freely granting injunctions, freely protecting and encouraging people to come up so that your rights as a film producer, as a content creator, can be protected.
So अभी जैसे you have told us about piracy. So मेरे mind में just एक और question अभी आया फिर से. So like on a daily basis we see कि किसी भी shop में या हम कहीं भी जाते हैं, so celebrity is a brand, everybody knows, right? But अगर किसी celebrity का poster without their permission they have used, so as a celebrity what legal action they can take?
Right. सेलिब्रिटी का पोस्टर ही नहीं, सेलिब्रिटी की आवाज़, सेलिब्रिटी के डायलॉग्स, all of these now are somewhat protected under a broad umbrella of personality rights. Okay, so आप किसी की परमिशन के बिना उनका नाम, उनकी लाइकनेस, उनका वॉइस नहीं यूज़ कर सकते, कॉपी नहीं कर सकते, राइट? A lot of times celebrities have taken action. Delhi High Court has recently protected Amitabh Bachchan, Anil Kapoor. All of these celebrities have gone to court and taken orders from court जहाँ उनको लगा उनका any aspect of their personality was being violated or used without their permission. Because ultimately, like you said, they are a brand and their source of income is their personality, right? And if they allow others to use it without permission, then what is left to monetize, right? And coming to your question कि छोटे shops में दिखता है, everyday दिखता है, those are things which may not be as economically impacting them. Ultimately, we'll have to understand that a lot of these come from a fan perspective. So in smaller shops, अगर आप देख रहे हो कि शाहरुख की पोस्टर लगी है, it's a fan. They are not trying to say कि ये शाहरुख की शॉप है या शाहरुख यहाँ है, nothing like that, right? So जहाँ उनको लगता है that it's coming from a place of fandom, then maybe they choose not to take action, where the scale is very small, where it's not monetizing on their personality, then they may not choose to take action. But where they feel that their personality is being used commercially by someone else, for example, किसी ने दलेर मेहंदी के पर्सनालिटी की से सिमिलर डॉल्स बना के बेचना शुरू किया था. So he went to court and he took action against them because they were selling those dolls which looked like him, right? And you can't do that. That's commercial exploitation of his personality without his permission, right? So there, yes, they choose to take action.
So जैसे you have just told कि personality rights होता है, and I've just got to know about this. This is something new for me. Thank you so much. So जैसे ना there are a lot of comedians जो mimicry करते हैं, like शाहरुख खान की mimicry हो गई, अमिताभ बच्चन की हो गई. So I think this is wrong. मतलब ये तो नहीं हो सकता, like अगर personality rights है तो.
See, there is a broad bucket of fair use, fair dealing, which means that आप अगर humor, comedy, satire इन चीज़ों के लिए यूज़ कर रहे हो, it may not essentially or strictly constitute infringement or violation because it's clear that it's mimicry, right? It's not like वो behave कर रहे हैं as if वो है that celebrity. So some aspects of these are covered or are protected under fair dealing. कि आप अगर ह्यूमर के लिए यूज़ कर रहे हो या it's a form of entertainment in one sense where you're using it for say satire or things like that, then essentially you don't strictly come under the infringement aspect of it.
So जैसे ये तो अभी entertainment sector की बात हो गई खुशबू. So अभी just one more question I really want to know कि like there are a lot of big brands, मतलब they are being sold openly in the local markets, मतलब fake products हैं उनके, copied products हैं, and they are being sold. So I think this is also wrong. So as a brand, what action they can take?
Yes, you are absolutely right कि अगर fake products बिक रहे हैं, whether in small markets or big markets, it's wrong. It's not permitted. It's not acceptable. They can of course take action. They can go to court. They can sue them for infringement. If the brand is being used, then trademark infringement because their brand is being copied. If it's the logo, then copyright as well. So depending on what aspects of their brand or their product is being copied, you have different remedies and you can go to court and take action. A lot of times action is not taken because you are unable to identify the source of infringement. A lot of times brand face these difficulties that ये जो cheap products बन रहे हैं, fake products बन रहे हैं, वो शायद export हो रहे हैं and India में बन ही नहीं रहे हैं, import हो रहे हैं, India में बन ही नहीं रहे हैं. Yeah, so आप एक shop बंद करा लोगे, but अगर आप source को बंद नहीं करोगे वो और 10 शॉप्स में आ जाते हैं, राइट? सो a lot of times they wait or they investigate and they try to understand कि ये source कहाँ से हो रहे हैं, where is it being created, and they try to go after that. A lot of times they don't take action because scale बहुत कम है, या it's not affecting them economically. Ultimately they know their audience, right? Somebody who uses a big brand will not buy it off a street market, right? So they think that their target market is not affected by this. You can always tell the difference between a copy and an original. It's becoming increasingly difficult now, but there are giveaways where you can tell the difference कि ये copy है, ये original है. So these brands often calculate कि, you know, ultimately you have to understand that litigation is an expensive process, right? It's not a process which is easy or reasonable or say cost effective most times. So it's a decision that needs to be taken understanding कि whether their business is really being affected or not. अगर एक छोटी सी शॉप कहीं पे है, उससे उनका बिजनेस नहीं अफेक्ट हो रहा है, उनके कस्टमर्स अफेक्ट नहीं हो रहे हैं, so they are not bothered as such, right? But it's not like they can't take action. They are very well equipped and legally they have the right to go after those brands or go after those shops.
Okay. So अभी जैसे हमने बात करी apparels की, entertainment sector, media sector. Now if I talk about cosmetic sector, cosmetic side, pharmaceutical industry. So there are also many false products like ointments हो गए, skin, मतलब skin पे हम use करते हैं कोई cream या कोई ऐसी pill है, हम consume कर रहे हैं. It is really harmful for our body, for our skin. So as a pharmaceutical industry and as if I'm from the cosmetic industry, what legal action I can take towards that, industry?
Yeah, definitely. I think the threshold when you approach court in a cosmetics counterfeit or in a pharmaceutical counterfeit is much lower. The urgency is much higher because it's something that you are consuming or applying. That's why the number of actions that I see also in court जहाँ पर कोई cosmetic product copy हो रहा है, बड़े बड़े brands के cosmetic products के counterfeits मिलते हैं, and it's you can't tell when you look at it कि real कौन सा है, fake कौन सा है, बहुत ध्यान से देखो तो शायद एक स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक दिख जाए आपको कहीं पे एट द बैक ऑफ द पैक, या फिर कहीं कलर डिफरेंस दिखे तो यू कैन प्रॉब्ली टेल, एंड दैट टू ब्रांड ओनर्स कैन टेल. एज अ लेमैन इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू टेल, एंड दैट्स वाई इट्स अ मेनिस विच नीड्स टू बी कर्ब्ड, एंड दैट्स वाई कोर्ट्स आर वेरी क्विक in granting orders in such matters. Costs impose होते हैं because those act as a deterrent. So the amount of costs that are imposed in pharmaceutical actions, in cosmetic counterfeit actions are much higher because it's a threat to life, right? It's a threat to public welfare. So if someone's using your brand name and selling these products, it's not permissible, and these are taken very strictly in the court of law.
So खुशबू, जैसे like meme का culture है काफ़ी. I use a lot of meme, मतलब मैं खुद जब वीडियोस बनाती हूँ तो मैं खुद meme यूज़ कर लेती हूँ. So my question is, जैसे क्रिकेट का कोई क्लिप है, किसी क्रिकेटर का कुछ मीम का, कुछ बन जाता है, कोई भी वीडियो मीम बन जाती है, कोई मूवीज़ का ले लो क्लिप, सॉन्ग्स का ले लेते हैं कोई क्लिप. सो एज अ लॉयर आई थिंक मतलब इसमें कोई एक्शन लिया जा सकता है क्या? मतलब इज इट रॉन्ग, मतलब अगर कोई क्लिप हमने यूज़ कर ली?
सी लाइक आई सेड, कुछ भी बिना परमिशन के यूज़ किया इज़ रॉन्ग. ओके, देर आर सम एक्सेप्शंस, जैसे मैंने बोला, अगर ह्यूमर और सटायर के लिए, स्ट्रिक्टली स्पीकिंग, इफ़ यू आर यूजिंग इट फॉर नॉन कमर्शियल पर्पसेस, देन येस, you can always argue कि नहीं है, ये infringement नहीं है, and this doesn't qualify as infringement. That's an arguable thing. But strictly speaking, अगर आपने किसी भी चीज़ को बिना परमिशन के यूज़ किया है तो वो गलत है. That's the thumbnail. अब उसमें आप disclaimer डाल दो कि I did not intend to infringe copyright, या आप source बता दो, ये मेरा source है. That doesn't remedy it. That doesn't make it okay. A lot of people think कि मैंने source डाल दिया तो अब मैंने clarify कर दिया कि मैं violate नहीं कर रहा हूँ किसी की rights. That's not how it works. Putting a disclaimer, mentioning the source, these things don't make it legal or permitted, right? But क्या होता है, when your memes or your movie clips are becoming popular because of memes, what is it leading to? It's giving you popularity, right? आपकी फिल्म जो शायद 20 साल पुरानी है आज सडनली फेमस हो गई है. You are re-releasing it. Your songs which were long forgotten have suddenly become viral on Instagram, and because of which your Spotify chartbusters are hitting the roof, right? So why will I take action? These people are marketing my content for me, right? Yes, sometimes these memes are commercial, in the sense that people are making money out of making these reels, but you have to see the larger picture, right? That's what content creators or film producers would do कि ठीक है वो कमा रहे हैं पैसे, बट अगर मुझे फ़ायदा हो रहा है then they may not choose to take action. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो नहीं ले सकते, वो कर सकते हैं, yeah, if someone's commercially using it. But if it's giving me the popularity, if it's making my 20 साल पुरानी movie famous again, I am re-releasing it, I am making more money, my songs are selling, what's the harm, right? So the meme culture works in a very dynamic way. It promotes your content for you and gives you more popularity. That's my personal opinion.
So Khushbu, like if I talk about artificial intelligence, so it is growing rapidly, right? So मीडिया इंडस्ट्री में काफ़ी ज़्यादा AI का यूज़ होता है, एड टेक में होता है, अब तो आई थिंक गिबली इमेज भी आ चुका है. सो देर आर सो मैनी पीपल जो अपलोड कर रहे हैं ChatGPT पे पिक्चर्स, अपनी फैमिली की पिक्चर, दे आर अपलोडिंग देयर बेबीज पिक्चर. सो दिस इज़ वेरी डेंजरस बिकॉज यू नो मैंने खुद देखा था, न्यूज़ में आया था, प्लीज़ डोंट अपलोड पिक्चर्स, दिस इज़ वेरी डेंजरस. सो आई वॉन्ट टू नो एज अ लॉयर दैट हाउ कॉपीराइट एंड AI, these two goes hand in hand.
I think they are not able to go hand in hand. Okay. That's the whole dispute. Okay. Everyone's trying to understand, everyone's trying to wrap their head around how to make them go hand in hand, because copyright is something which subsists in a work created by humans. आज तक हमने वही देखा है, right? Creator was a human and therefore ownership के concepts were very clear. Today it's in the gray because there is a machine output which is creating something for you based on your commands, based on your inputs. A lot of people argue that the person giving the command is the owner, because a lot of platforms also have these in their terms that if the user is giving the commands, the user is the owner of the output that is generated. I think there's some decision in China also which supports this view, but ultimately there is nothing which is concrete today, right? It's an exercise in the dark, because it's an exercise which is aimed at trying to protect everyone without taking away someone's rights. Okay, so AI is creating work for you, but it is using work which is already in public domain to train itself. It's an area where you don't know who owns that work, who can enforce that work. अगर आप कहते हो कि AI is the owner of that work, how will AI ever enforce that, right? How will they ever fight it out or go to court and protect it? Ultimately that has to be done by somebody, some human. So there are layers to it. It's an overlapping question, and there are aspects to it which we've not yet discovered, and it remains to be discovered. But it's something which is to be treaded carefully, because like you said, there's a problem of deep fakes now. Yes. People's personality, people's faces are being used without their permission. We are able to do that today because that's the power of AI, and like you said, it's everywhere. But there is a fine line which needs to be drawn between using technology and misusing technology. And I think that's where, as a society, you have to take that conscious call that technology should be used for advancement and not to take a step back, right? So it's, of course, there have to be regulations. There are regulations. There have been judgments where deep fakes have been, asked to be deleted, removed. that's the job of the judiciary. But I think as a society, there has to be a conscious effort to not do it in the first place, right? It's not fun and games. So, yes, I am in support of AI getting embedded in everyone's lives. A lot of times it makes things simpler. A lot of times when, you have to sort of paraphrase things, you have to put it differently. You can use AI and it helps you immensely. But you have to understand that beyond a point, it may get dangerous. So it's important to make conscious and um, intelligent use of AI, because ultimately there's nothing bigger or stronger than a human mind.
So, Khushbu, like, this is not only my question, this is a question from the other people's point of view as well. क्योंकि सोशल मीडिया इट्स वेरी डेंजरस. सी आई विल बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, बिकॉज मेरा भी इंस्टाग्राम है, मैं प्राइवेट अकाउंट ही रखती हूँ. मतलब मैं पब्लिक नहीं करती. इवन दो आई लव मेकिंग रील्स, मैं बनाती हूँ रील्स. तो मुझे बस इसी चीज़ का डर लगता है, अगर पब्लिक अकाउंट हो गया, एआई इतना डेंजरस है, कुछ भी हो सकता है एआई से. सो बस मुझे यही पूछना था, लाइक सोशल मीडिया इज़ रियली डेंजरस बिकॉज एआई ने अब बहुत ज़्यादा चीज़ें ओपन, मतलब लोग, पीपल आर मिस यूजिंग दिस. मतलब लोगों को अच्छा यूज़ करना चाहिए, लाइक एआई से कुछ अच्छी चीज़ कर लो, टेक्नोलॉजी अपग्रेडेशन नहीं है तो, बट दे आर मिस यूजिंग दिस. सो मतलब इस चीज़ में मुझे ये पूछना है कि अगर लाइक इफ़ समवन इज़ यूजिंग माई पिक्चर एंड कहीं पे भी अपलोड हो जाए, कहीं पे भी, सो मैं ऐसा क्या एक्शन कर सकती हूँ? इंस्टाग्राम मेरा, मतलब क्या कर सकती हूँ मैं? इंस्टाग्राम पे कंप्लेन करूँ या किसी लॉयर को अप्रोच करूँ? मतलब मुझे क्या एक्शन लेना चाहिए इसके टूवर्ड्स?
See, I think the first thing you should do is, yes, report it to Instagram, because that's the easiest way ना. आप अगर Instagram ऐप यूज़ कर रहे हो, आपके लिए सबसे आसान वही तरीका है to report it, right? If that's not working out, or if that's taking too long, you try and contact the person who's done it. कि you can't do this, please take it down. Practically speaking, I'm telling you things you can do, because um, I understand that this problem is persistent. If none of these work, then yes, you have to approach a lawyer. You have to take the legal route, and I understand that sometimes is a little expensive. You have to incur costs towards it, but the downside of not doing it is worse, right? So the first step, and in fact I tell all my clients that the first step should be to try it and resolve it without involving lawyers, without getting into litigation. That helps nobody. But if that's not working out for whatever reason, then yes, you always should have your lawyers by you. You have to ultimately go to court and say that this is being misused, this is being used without my permission, and it can't be done, right?
Right. So Khushbu, like you have a very busy schedule, but I have seen that आपने काफ़ी moot court में, you have been a judge, and you like, I think, mentoring students. आपने काफ़ी sessions भी लिए हैं. So I really want to know, एक तो इतना busy schedule, ठीक है, and आप extra activities में भी participate करते हो. So how do you manage all these things all together?
I think time banana padta hai. It's not easy, because after a long tiring week, you feel like you want some time for yourself, right? But I love mentoring students. I love being able to help them in whatever ways I can. My mother is a teacher, so I think वो थोड़ा वहाँ से आता है मुझे. That I love teaching, and I love being able to sort of interact with students and help them in whatever way I can, especially because मेरे टाइम पे मुझे ऐसा लगता था कि that's missing, that mentorship, that guidance, when I was in my first year, second year, I was a bit lost. So I feel like, one, I love helping people out in whatever ways I can, and two, it's it's a refreshing experience to go back and interact to students, because I think जैसे we grow up, or we start doing these jobs that we are in, we start taking ourselves too seriously. वो नहीं करना है. And going back to college, going back to these students helps keep you grounded, helps give you a refreshing perspective towards things, their questions, their enthusiasm. It kind of reminds you, this is what it's all about, this is where you started, and you don't want to take everything around you too seriously. So it's always good to sort of be in touch with students and be in touch with the upcoming minds.
Right. सो खुशबू, आपने काफ़ी सेशंस भी लिए हैं लीगल स्कूल के लिए. सो हाउ वाज योर एक्सपीरियंस एंड वाज इट डिफरेंट फॉर यू? आई रियली वांट टू नो दिस.
Yes, I think it was one of the most rewarding experiences, to be able to teach, or to be able to sort of give back to these students, these professionals. How this particular module was different for me is because our team at Khaitan has guided this module, and helped in creating the structure, and sort of our team is helping in teaching students, and taking these sessions for these students. And that's when you understand that it's not an exercise, in vacuum. It's an outcome based exercise. It's something where you know what you are teaching them, that this is something that will practically help them. It's a growth chart that you can see, because the entire team is invested towards helping these students, helping these professionals who have enrolled for these courses. And I think when you can see the outcome, when you can understand that it's going to practically help them, you feel a lot more rewarded, right? The students in my sessions at least were extremely curious. They had questions which were premised on real life instances, real life curiosity. um, Initially मैंने उनको बोला था कि this has to be an interactive session, otherwise you are not going to be sleeping, because it was a virtual session. Students from all across the country had joined in, right? So you don't have to now, that freedom is there, that you don't have to physically be in a classroom and limit it to a geographical area, right? You can teach students across the country through the lens. So once I told them that this has to be an interactive session, the questions kept coming in, and I was happy to answer all of them, because that's when you understand, right, that they are applying their mind, they are being able to understand that these aspects that they are being taught has real life implications. And that's what's most relevant, like, right? क्योंकि even we feel कि हमें अगर स्कूल में किसी ने टैक्स फाइलिंग सिखा दी होती, हम कितने खुश होते, right? These are things that practically help you, and I think that's the best part.
So after these conversations, Khushbu, I have learned so many things from you. And as an advocate, even I didn't know so many things. And you have told us so many things, which is like very new to me also. Personality rights, about meme culture, which is very new to me. Thank you so much for this. And I think audience को भी काफ़ी कुछ सीखने को मिला होगा. बिकॉज ऑन अ डेली बेसिस हम ये सब चीज़ें देखते हैं, राइट? बट आज हमने IP के लेंस से ये सारी चीज़ें देखी है. सो थैंक यू सो मच फॉर गिविंग अस दिस नॉलेज. सो नाउ वी विल जस्ट रैप अप दिस पॉडकास्ट, एंड हम ऐसे ही पॉडकास्ट आप लोगों के लिए लाते ही रहेंगे. एंड नॉट ओनली IPR, बट हम आपको बहुत सारे स्पेशलाइजेशन की नॉलेज ऐसे ही अपने पॉडकास्ट के थ्रू देते रहेंगे.